Good evening, folks. It is Matt Rogers. It is the 9th of January 2025. I went out last night and picked up some amazing captures of a huge celestial body. Now this object is showing up through in our solar system. It is not a known planet. Please check out the video. Now indeed, folks, something very important is showing up in space. Now, when we aimed the telescope towards the northern skies, pointing out towards the stars, we picked up a huge planet object. Now on these observations, something incredible was happening, because indeed whilst studying the photographs that were captured, picking up evidence of something else. Now, what we notice here on this particular picture, we could be seeing the atmosphere of the Earth to this side of the photograph, moving out towards space. Now this was reported through the scientific community some years ago about our atmosphere that is moving away from space. How could this be possible? But indeed there is something large showing up in the solar system, something of an unknown heavenly body, folks. Look to the right outside where we can see iron oxide or some kind of space debris or some kind of apparition of a strange rainbow colour, a huge colour through space, space rocks, space debris, stars, formations. I mean, the photographs are authentic. I was able to catch them in colour as well this time, so you can pinpoint the evidence. I'm just going to zoom in for you to see this object a bit more clearer. I mean, look at the space body, look at the size of this object. Now when we calculate objects in the solar system, we pick up Jupiter, we pick up Mars, smaller objects. Now indeed as well, by looking at the observations of this huge body, it is bigger, roughly around about 7 times bigger than Jupiter, folks. Just look at this iron oxide, space debris moving across space. This red colour of iron oxide. I mean, if this iron oxide reaches Earth into our atmosphere, it can cause problems to our lungs and other health problems as well. Just another very important capture of some kind of space body that is showing up as well. Let me just zoom back out for you as well in this very photograph. Very important pictures that are being caught as well in space. Now again, speaking of the phenomena of indeed all that's happening now, had an email that came through this morning. Now these people in Australia sent me a message. Douglas Richards and his community stated that all what we see of the skies, of these strange orbs that appear through the skies across the United States of America and other countries as well, are signs in the skies. Are signs in the skies for us to collect the warnings of this phenomenon of Planet X, NIBIRU, the coming cataclysm. Something is coming, folks. Something is coming. Now we've spoke about the destroyer for a long time, but indeed this particular photograph is proving that there is something large in our solar system. Now if we see the blue refraction of light from the Earth, of our atmosphere moving into space, how is this possible? You can see the readings and the files as well on the internet. If you go onto the internet and put that in, you'll see that they've been speaking about this as well. It's a fact, folks, that something's happening. But indeed as well, by looking at that very picture, is this object causing this for our Earth again to be affected by this huge other object in our solar system, a discharging towards Earth and other known objects? Think about that. Folks, what I've done was I've brightened up the pictures so we get a more of a clarification of what we're seeing of the observations. Notice this plasma or some kind of discharge, like I just spoke of as well, of a huge light refraction of discharge from the sun or something, where we can see the heavenly body discharging in our solar system. This is a very important capture as well. Let me just zoom into the area. You notice as well space debris and space rocks to this side of the particular picture. Let me just go back as well for you. These are genuine captures, folks, real captures, just showing you of something in our solar system. What kind of plasma wave are we seeing here? I mean, is this come off the sun? Or are we seeing space debris closer towards where we see the magnification of where we see the distance of the heavenly body, Planet X? Okay, folks, this is what we're getting, because moments later, as the camera's pointing towards this heavenly body, it becomes like this, like a huge ball of iron oxide in space. We see some smaller asteroids or stars to the left-hand side, but you can notice the ball of fire of the fiery dragon in our solar system. Again, I've brightened up the photographs, but you can see the incredible capture of this hail of dust in front of the heavenly body. It randomly does this, folks. I don't know why it does it, but indeed we can see iron oxide. Moments later, we're starting to get back into view of this object in space. Let me just show you the photograph in full as well, so we can see the blue, incredible colours of Earth to the left-hand side of the photograph. We see some iron oxide, but when we go back to the heavenly body in detail, we notice other planets in the solar system, the mini solar system of Planet X. This indeed could be the brown dwarf star, Nemesis, the destroyer. We notice smaller objects as well, smaller space bodies. We could be noticing Harrington, Farada, Arboda, Helion, and another heavenly body. There's lots of heavenly bodies, Farada, in the solar system, folks, in this mini solar system, causing destruction, causing anxiety to our solar system. Has this object now entered our solar system, folks? Let me just zoom into the smaller bodies. You can just see the smaller bodies that were captured with the telescope. Let me just go to the top area as well, where we notice a smaller object. See, again, I speak of changes through governments, changes through a lot of things. And I've even looked at other people's excellent captures and videos of towns, countries that are being destroyed. I mean, things are changing. And it's like the government are sucking the money out of our countries, folks, to build those deep underground bases to try and protect themselves because of this huge object. I mean, again, we speak of the phenomenon of the orbs and UFOs or some kind of unidentified phenomena, UAPs, approaching the skies. And then we see military drones, government drones, to try and confuse people to thinking it's just drones. Folks, again, it states in the Bible, look up towards the heavens and see the signs in the skies. Now, I've taken pictures of asteroids in different videos and space objects that look interstellar, like starships. I speak of the Anunnaki, the approaching huge celestial event, folks, that the Sumerians placed onto tablets, onto drawings, to show us the 12 planets, just like Zecharia Sitchin explained as well with Dr. Robert Harrington in an interview in the 1990s, and all of a sudden Dr. Robert Harrington disappeared, passed away, died of cancer. Within moments, with the technology with the IRAS telescope, all the information disappeared. Did he see this huge object? See, folks, just like when we see the refraction of light from the sun through the cycles of the moon, the light refraction from the sun reflecting to the moon, and we pick up the moon, and then when the shadows disappeared, we don't see the moon. But again, this object, it seems to go darker, but we still see the iron oxide on particular photographs. And then we notice when the light refraction hits this object from our sun, it shows, it beams out very strong, very powerful. Look at the iron oxide to the side and also the upper area of the photograph. Plasma, or some kind of phenomena as well, to the right hand side of the photograph. could be seeing asteroids, space debris being dragged through this mini solar system. This is a huge object, folks. Genuine captures of a space body, a space intruder. I mean, folks, look at the size of it. You would noticeably notice if we were seeing Saturn from a distance, it'd be this size. This object is larger than Jupiter, folks. Folks, it's particularly hard as well when you're showing out photographs from a telescope through a cloudy sky. But again, from a distance, in astronomical terms, how far away is it? Where we're seeing this object, we can see space debris again. There is the object. Now what I've done is I've darkened the photograph, more of an original shade of darkness around where we see the heavenly body in space. It is incredible, folks, as something now is showing up. See, folks, every time we go back to the photography, we see space debris, more and more space debris moving across in front of this object. Look how it goes darker as well, folks. How we start to see the iron oxide spreading through space. You can see just the tail of the NIBIRU system just in the background of where we see this heavenly body. You notice as well the light refraction from the sun reflecting towards onto the heavenly body to show its size and characteristics. Deep space. Look at this reflections of light as well from smaller objects, space debris, asteroids, trash through this mini solar system, folks. Something is going on. It really is. These are absolutely amazing captures. They really are now. This is a very important picture as well, because where we see the space debris moving across, where we see the showing of the important captures with the telescope of asteroids moving past. We've seen these on other videos as well. There's a lot of space debris out there now, folks. They won't tell you this because it's very hazardous out there in space. They had to have astronauts being taken from the space station or some kind of device where they track things up there in space as well. And they're taking bodies out of those objects now and bringing them back home to Earth because the upbeat of asteroids is incredible now. But they still show as well on the asteroid diagrams, it's all still normal. They don't want any panic, folks. But look at this incredible capture where we see again the space body and the coordinations of where we see the planets in this mini solar system. I mean, you can notice the one just down below as well. There's there's moons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just down here the 6th one. There could be one at the backside of this object as well. We could be seeing again Farada, and then just heading up to the photograph we could be seeing Harrington, we could be seeing Helion, Arboda. I mean, the characteristics of the object again is absolutely incredible. Let me just zoom into the particular photograph as well so you can see the objects. I mean, you notice this is a planetoid object, moons, heavenly bodies. A lot of people have spoken about this as well, this phenomena, for a long time now, and studying the formations is incredible. Are the very captures of what we need. I was absolutely blown away when I captured this as well. Have they been tracking this? These particular photographs, have they been tracking this very object we're seeing on the screen with the SPT telescope, the South Pole telescope, down in Antarctica, where again the people like Rodney Marks had lost his life. One of the scientific community down at the South Pole telescope sadly lost his life. Rodney Marks, tracking this object. Now, I spoke about this a number of times in the past as well, that the heavenly body, again, spoke about in the Washington Post way back in the 1980s. I can remember this. We all did back in the day when it was in the newspapers, the headlines. It was all over the newspapers in the United Kingdom and also a lot of other parts of the world. United States of America, they were the ones also that brought it up. And again, that object, they explained it in the papers, mysteriously heavenly body, lurking in space towards the further reaches of our solar system, further than Pluto, therefore further than the asteroid belt, tugging also, think about it, Uranus and Neptune's orbits, making them very wobbly, the orbits, very strange, because the further out you go, the ripple is smoother. When you throw a stone in the water, the ripples become wider and smoother. But for some reason, the ripples of our solar system, think of the rings of the ripples, folks. Think of the heavenly bodies in our solar system, our planets in our solar system. But the further reaches of our solar system, that we've got two massive bodies, folks, Neptune and Uranus, that were discovered a long time ago as well by John Goll, that was a German astronomer. Now, if you think about this in mathematical terms, with the wobble of the heavenly body of Uranus and Neptune, only a huge object, folks, could do this. Only a huge object could cause the wobbles of large celestial bodies. I mean, think of those objects, folks, please, Neptune and Uranus, where indeed Earth would only be a speck just like this, what we can see here, if we're looking at Neptune. But Neptune would be a size of this, towards this object. Now, folks, again, fireballs, upbeats, changes with weather patterns, hurricanes. There's a lot of differences now. Earthquakes, a lot of changes, even the abrupt climate change that we're seeing as well here on the area of the United Kingdom, areas of the United States of America, areas from all across the world, folks. Chile. And it just goes on and on. Africa. They're seeing abrupt climate changes. Now, when something is hit our solar system of this great mass in size, it's going to do something, folks. It's going to change our worlds forever. See, again, like I just mentioned, you've got to think about this, right, folks? Yeah, right, that when we pick up objects from a distance and we can see planets, and again, they're just small. They're just small dots. Small. They look like stars, but planets. They're planets. Suns with smaller bodies. But again, when you see something incredible of a huge rock, a huge planetoid, a huge object, a brown dwarf star, a dark star that's just lurking through space, that is headed into our solar system. You can all remember, folks, think about this, please. You can all remember the 1980s, 1990s. Take a think back of what it was like, the blue skies and the fluffy white clouds and the beautiful birds, the aurora of the natural earth, people happy walking by, just minding their own business, enjoying their day. It affects us as well, folks, because this object will cause low frequency vibrations, causing people to be depressed. Now that is a very incredible word, depressed, because there's a lot of people out there that know that something is different. These vaccines, for instance, the changes, being pushed into things that we don't want to do. And all of a sudden, they will not tell us when this object turns up, folks. They will not tell us when it just appears in the skies. They're going to leave it right to the last point. They're going to smudge up the skies, cover up the skies, until we see the destruction coming. Now, at one viewpoint as well, by taking the particular pictures, we can still see the space objects, but again, look how bright it's lit up as well from the plasma from the sun. We notice to the right hand side we can see some kind of energetic discharge or something, a plasma or something that's moving across, discharging our solar system. Again, you can see as this object is moving through space. I mean, wow, look at the waves of energy in the background as well, the auroras in space. That's what I was trying to say at the beginning of the video. With the atmosphere, you can see as it's being spread out across space again. And the auroras are incredible on the particular picture. But that is an object, folks. We're not pointing to the sun here. We're pointing to something very big. Very, very big. This is worrying, folks. Mr. Stan Richards from Arizona, in the United States of America, sent me an email back after I showed the particular pictures. He stated, Matt, don't show these photographs. Just leave it. Don't show these photographs. But I thought it's best to show the photographs because we have a right to know. Our community have a right to know that there is some kind of huge object in our solar system. In our solar system, folks. This space body. I mean, when we see pictures and the changes of space and light refractions, the objects, still again in this area of view sight, but because of the waves of our atmosphere, and with stars that are so far away, they move, you can see them, the light refractions of them moving. So these objects seems to be showing as closer, and then they just spread out to the original area that we saw in the other photograph when we see the sun refraction beaming very strong onto this object. But they continue to change our skies, folks, so people cannot observe what is to come. Okay, I want to show you this picture because when we looked at all the different photographs with the fraction of light from the sun and everything, at this viewpoint, this is the original, you can see the actual casting of the red iron oxide of this planet, this huge object, or are we seeing again the binary sun? The sun, our sun, the second sun. Now, a lot of people in the 1960s were taught, indeed, I mean, it's all there written in the public details from way back in them times, the history of learning and also teaching, that we are in a binary system. But all of a sudden, they changed it. They changed it to one single sun. Now, look at this, folks. I'm just going to show you as well. But we see this object deep in space. Look at this. Can you see the iron oxide that's spreading out through our solar system, lit up by the sun to this area? Back in 2016, we saw the sun change, folks. And then they come out with some kind of sand, desert storm of sand in the atmosphere that caused our sun, the Sol, to go into darkness for about half an hour. And then it lit up again as a golden sun. But look at this blue aurora. Can you see the auroras to the left-hand side down here as well? Look. You're going to see space rocks, asteroids. We've been seeing these quite a lot now. But to the right-hand side as well, you can see more space rocks or smaller objects. But notice that object, folks. It's there. It's there, folks. It was picked up on the telescope as well. I was absolutely blown away when I saw this object. Indeed, is this, again, just to clarify, is this the object that is worrying the governments across the world, that is causing all the wars and all the what's going on? It's very strange cause, isn't it, to cover up the skies. Just another very, very important photograph of a large body. Okay, now with the photography, I'm going forwards and backwards with the particular timestamps. Now this was again taken in the evening sky, and noticing the plasma of the sun to the right hand side. Now the camera was taking quite a lot of pictures, but everything was just lit up bright. I couldn't see anything. But at one capture to the left side of the sun, the astronomical shadow cast an object. You can see it clearly. Notice the blue sky, but again you can see where we were seeing in space. But we notice the sun as it's setting. But this is incredible. Something mysterious. It's not a lens flare, folks. It's something that is deep in space to the left side of the sun. Plasma from the sun. And this object. I mean, it's the same body because we've looked at the calculations of the size of this body It's exactly the same body as we've been picking up on the photography on this video. Again, folks, I apologise if the photography is quite smudgy, but again, that's what it's like in space, as we're noticing more space debris in a particular image. But this again was the area view sites where we saw the sun setting. The second photograph shows again this iron oxide, space dust and debris. It looks indeed that it's towards the back side of the sun, showing up to the left hand side. There's a lot of space debris out there in space in front of the object, as we can clearly see. I mean, indeed, was Carlos Munoz Ferrada, the Chilean astronomer, was he right? Because incredible captures are real, folks. They are real. I admire Carlos Munoz Ferrada, and I also admire other mathematicians and also book authors that have spoken about Planet X, NIBIRU, the dragon. Now I'm hoping you can see this photograph, okay, because this is the second photograph, right? When the sun has set, the object appears just as it's going down. Now, notice in front of the object, we see these strange lines appearing. Okay, now, these appeared with the cloud systems, covering up something, maybe. But they're still showing up, aren't they, as these strange trails? Geoengineering? I mean, it could be, folks, or we could be seeing contrails. But there is some object in the background just heading down towards the horizon. Clearly, is it the same objects as we've been seeing on this video? Another photograph was taken just about an hour and a half after that photograph you just noticed, pointing to space. Again, you can see the dark astronomical shadows. Now, again, look how the photograph shows all this space debris. There's a hell of a lot of space debris showing up as well, as I explained, moving across space. Now, they're always moving in the same direction. From this side of where we see the photograph down to this way. Now, all this space trash and debris seems to be heading towards, in our solar system, passing Earth. Still quite a long way up there in astronomical terms, but it's showing more and more multiple times of space rocks, objects. But still we're seeing the casting shadow and the colours as well of NIBIRU, Planet X. And then, just like I described then, this happens. We see a smudge in space of iron oxide. The object, but all this iron oxide moving across space in front of the object. Look towards the foreground as well, in front of us, where we see these space rocks and objects. Clearly seen as well as separate colours, light refractions. Because if they were much darker, it could be that these objects are behind where we see this object. So again, it could be further reaches of our solar system out there in space, but it's showing up as well clearly, isn't it? Does this object cause gravity waves, in particular of strange cloud systems? Whilst taking photographs and the observations of space, very close by as well, we saw this object. Now, again, I couldn't really relate to what it is, but we could see something again towards the area view side, towards showing up this formation again. Notice again, look at the smudged out area, could just be trash, space debris. This is very close to where we saw that heavenly body. Could this be the Anunnaki? Now folks, I don't know what this is, but it was picked up in space as well, northeast, at around 2 AM in the morning. A glowing orb moving through space. Look at this, what we notice of this dust or just moving behind it. What could it be, folks? I mean, look at all the trash surrounding the object. We took this photograph as well. This was taken around about 3 PM, blue skies, opening area of the strange cloud systems. But in particular, we picked up and noticed this ghostly formation that appeared. I mean, what could this be? Again, we took one single picture because it was moving, it was morphing in and out. I mean, again, taking the constructive picture of the observations, something's showing up. Something showing up through the blue skies, pointing south. Now we lit up this photograph as well, so we can see more of an appearance of these formations. A smaller asteroid or a smaller planet. It could be Sedna in our solar system. There is other smaller formations, but this incredible catcher picked up something huge and metallic. A light refraction, like a ring of some kind of metallic object that was very, very strange. It was casting a different light to where we saw the light refraction of this other object. Okay folks, so the thing is now, for a good number of years, we all know that there is some huge event coming our way, and it's been around for a good number of thousands of years, 3,600 orbit, that this object is part of our solar system, folks. It's not about, is it there? Because we know it's there now. It's about, when is this going to happen? See, with the observations of this formation, of this object, this heavenly body, we just need to calculate and study it, and also talk about to prepare for what is to come. It's really important to stock up and prepare, because something incredibly huge, of a huge event, the biggest event of our lifetimes, is showing up in space, folks, now. Thank you for watching. I'll come back to you tomorrow. From Matt Rogers. Please also subscribe to this channel. If you ever get the chance to watch in the video footage, subscribe, press the notification button, because we will indeed show up the real images of strange objects and formations, planets that have reached our solar system. Thank you for watching NIBIRU Sky Observations, again with Matt Rogers.